Hello, this Saturday, October 8th, I will be performing at Flappers in Burbank, California. Flappers Comedy Club, 4 p.m. I will be there with Gen X Talks. They're wildly popular all over TikTok and YouTube. Special guest, ain't gonna say who it is, but you might know who I'm talking about. I will also be there with Mike Black and John DeResta. So come on down, Burbank, California, Flappers in Burbank, 4 p.m. Saturday, October 8th. Now let's get into the show.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Me, I know that he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to our Pocket Party. Pocket Party.
Oh yeah, baby. So let's start that party in your ear holes.
And we're back. Hey everybody, it's your host Darren Carter calling Mr. Mike Black for the Pocket Party podcast. Let's turn his volume up a little bit.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Sure. It is.
How long have you been awake today?
It is technically morning still.
Yeah.
I woke up at 11:15 and realized that was pointless because it would be like till 11:30. And then I saw your text and was like, "Can we do 11:45?" Sure. And so I slept till about a minute ago.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Dude, it's funny. I was like, I could be ready at 11:30, but I'm so happy you said 11:45. I was like, that's
I could do later if you want.
No,
Whatever.
you're like, I know. The trouble is I have like a small window of time to record today, so but this works though. And usually you start out and then the engine gets going and then you wake up. So I get it. When you wake up, do you open your blinds and kind of let the sunlight in to kind of like
No.
No. So right.
I'm on the ground floor of my complex.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
if I open the blinds, anyone walking by just sees me in my underwear and my whole apartment, and just
Right.
face the place or whatever. And they don't want to see me in the morning, waking up and doing my routine and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's another person in the complex who is the same setup, only they have like not a black light, but a red light in their main apartment.
Ooh, that's kind of creepy.
And so it looks
or sexy.
It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have all the time. And for the first week, I was like, don't look in the apartment because there's a red light flowing from it.
Yeah.
When I'm going to get my mail, but I was like, I gotta look, and I looked, and they're in there watching TV, and they look back at me like I'm the weirdo for looking in there.
You're right.
Like,
Right.
It looks like the devil is in your apartment from the outside.
Yeah, that's one of those
People are
things
gonna
like
look. Don't make me feel like a weirdo for looking.
I remember years ago, like back in the single days, guys would give each other advice, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, you got to get a red light bulb. That way, when you it looks sexy." And they said that it camouflages your pimples.
Oh my God!
Like it sort of camouflages any kind of like rosacea or like rashes.
Just use the dark like everyone else. Why do you gotta get weird?
I guess red light is supposed to be like sexy or something. See, now you probably have an image
It
because
indicates the prostitution district. That's the red light district.
Yeah. You're sending a strong message to your significant other. I'm a whore,
or I think you're a whore.
I think you're a whore, and this is what I'm used to. It's symbolizing
the lighting you deserve. You dirty whore.
I've probably got this all wrong. It's probably supposed to be like a blue light or something, but I think a red light is what I remember. I don't know. You're right though. See, people get the thing all wrong. Like
a red light sounds like wouldn't it be fun to have sex in a toaster oven? It just seems like such a weird idea.
Oh yeah, and plus it's like super hot and there's like a heat wave and you're like your apartment. Yeah, if you're doing the thing with the red light, you're probably, your little hot box in the valley is what getting, oh boy, it's a nice 95 degrees, it's all toasty. You got a red light.
I could see like maybe a pinkish sort of light or something like that, but like a bright red light just sounds like an
I just
awful
realized
idea.
you accidentally came up with a great idea for your merchandise when you're on the road.
Oh,
You
what's
said
that?
you said red light. You also said black light, and I realized your last name is Black. So maybe you could have Mike Black black
So-
lights.
Yeah, so UV lights.
You could sell the Mike Black black light. That's right. Find out how clean your hotel room is when you're traveling.
It's funny, I just found out that I collect action figures and stuff,
Yeah.
and I photograph them all the time, and I use black light for different effects and stuff like that. It makes it look cool, like some of the different things will, like, if you put them under black light, they'll kind of glow and
Oh yeah. Like what's like
rad and stuff.
right?
And I just found out that someone, like, it's verified that black light will mess with the radicals in plastic and make it brittle. if you do it too
Oh.
much. So I was like, oh, I got to be careful with that.
Oh dang.
And like it'll take, like, if you have like white plastic, like say like a stormtrooper or something,
Yeah.
and you shine too much black light on it, it'll turn it yellow. So it's like, oh,
Oh
I
gosh.
gotta be more careful with that.
Yeah. It's like why do all your action figures match my legal pads?
Well, yeah, and I was like, I wonder why aren't all these other people using this one with their photos and stuff like that? It's so cool looking, and it's like, oh, because it's basically like the sunlight for a vampire.
Oh yeah. Maybe they're just using some kind of Instagram filter or something, but I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, what I like to do when I wake up, especially when I'm on the road where it's like I don't have to, be considerate of other people like that live
Right,
with me.
yeah.
I just go like total like open the curtains as much as I can, like especially if I'm on an upper floor.
And let one rip.
Yeah, exactly. like welcome neighbors. No. What I like to do. Well, number one, I what you just said, bottom floor. I never stay on the bottom floor if I can help it. I always try to go like, second floor, third floor. That way I'm up, and especially the higher. That way, like you said, you can walk around in your boxers and stuff, and not have to feel like
Yeah.
I'm on the bottom floor. There's, and then I like to open up, let as much light in as possible. Like crank the AC, get it going, and then I'll, I've been busting out the little, jumping jacks and stuff like that just to get the body moving, and then I go over to the black coffee, Mike Black coffee.
Yeah, you do any of that stuff on the first floor, and suddenly it's your penthouse. I never thought I would see Darren Carter working out in his boxers on the first floor, but I did.
Today was my
You
lucky
won't believe
day.
what happened next?
Yeah. He did this thing called the helicopter.
He
Yeah.
took the light bulb out and replaced it with a red light.
So he could possibly think he had hair again. Oh, that was funny. Yesterday, my son was asking me different genres of music that I like. He's like, "Who's your favorite metal band? Who's your favorite hair metal band?" And when he said hair metal band, I said, I'm more into no hair metal band." And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's so stupid." He goes, "Oh, you're into bald."
Strictly Rod Halford.
Yeah. He goes, "You're into bald metal." I didn't even know that was
Is that a thing?
No, he just made it up. But I was like hair metal, bald metal. I was like, okay.
We should start a bald metal band.
Oh yeah, bald metal band. Have you shaved your head completely yet? You kind of have, right? Sort of, kind of.
Yeah. That's because I get the ring around the sides.
Yeah, I have a buddy that
You
he just basically ditched his Propecia about three or 4 months ago, and it's definitely receding. And I'm thinking, and he's kind of trimmed it down, but he still uses the one on the clippers. And I think he should just start shaving it, take the guard off, and just go for it. He'd probably look better, I think. But I think a guy just has to kind of know like when it's time to do it. They don't want to let go, which I didn't want to let go.
For me, it's like I don't go zero just because I don't want to nick myself too much.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more maintenance, I think. But I just do it at like one, or the new clippers I have kind of naturally are a one. They don't, they won't go like straight to the scalp.
Oh.
And so I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I don't think there's that much of a difference between stubble and totally clean shaven.
Yeah, I just go for the stubble look. I'm like, oh, well, but no one can see it anyways. It's like,
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
like,
it's like,
and my hair is gray, so if I do it if like I do like a real one where there's like too much length,
yeah.
it looks like I have glitter all over my head because my hair is like so, but like it's metallic gray.
That sounds cool.
It sounds cooler than it is, but it just highlights the bald pattern that I have in glitter. You know,
dude, you got to put that on one of those dating apps, like metallic gray glitter
Yeah.
highlighted. It's like, well, who is this stud? Like, it's, you know, it's a good way to say it.
He sings in a bald metal band.
Yeah, and he's all into like red lights and stuff. Like, what?
I have to date him.
Yeah, I have to do that. I have to meet this hero. No. But yeah, a friend of mine moved back to
He
LA.
sounds terrible for me.
I know. A friend of mine moved back to LA, and it's interesting when someone is in show business or wants to be in show business, and then
Yeah.
they got some advice from the great Jimmy Schubert, who's been around. You know, Jimmy
Yeah.
Schubert with Outlaws of Comedy back in the day with Sam Kinison and stuff. And the number one advice he told my buddy was, if you really want to, he goes, first thing I would do, goes, take that gray off your face, because he had like this beard thing happening, but it was just all gray and his hair was straggly. He goes, get a haircut, color your hair, just give it,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say because, I don't want anyone to get offended that's listening, but in show business, at least when you're trying to be in front of people and the cameras in this town is driven by at least, I'm not going to say youth because there's nothing you can do about, we all know we're not 24, but like at least have a youthful, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like
Youthful sort of look. You're telling me to dye my beard.
No, not you. No, this isn't you.
I understand.
Yeah. Jimmy, are you on the other line?
Shitty
Jimmy, pick up the other line.
of telling me that I need just for men.
Yeah, this is the makeover podcast. We're just no.
Is Jimmy in the other room? Is he gonna, like?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open my door.
Is this Mike Black? I was walking around the bottom floor looking for you. No. Yeah.
Because I saw him the other night. We just ran into each other, but I have kind of a salt and pepper thing going with my
No, that's right. You saw him. You were there on Friday, and there was another guy that he was hanging around that you might have saw. He had like the gray, and he told him, take that gray off your face, which is an interesting way to say it.
Yeah. He might have told me that. I just wasn't listening.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. He was talking to a guy from North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say the guy's name because
that-
I feel bad if he, because the next time the public sees him, he's going to be all clean shaven with colored hair, looking younger.
Mohawk.
He'll have a mohawk. Yeah, there's a thing too. Also, when you get older, you're like, wow, I've gone from looking 55 to 53. I still look old. I'm not like.
And like I have a thing with me. Part of it is because of my weight and stuff. And I don't have very thick eyebrows either. So if I shave like my mustache off and everything, I look like a gigantic baby.
Oh yeah, I could
so
see
it's
that.
one or the other. It's looking a little bit older and people taking you seriously, or looking like a gigantic baby.
They're like, go sit in the corner. No, I put baby in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's funny.
And it's like just for men, I just don't bother. It just seems like so.
I haven't
Like it would look really weird on me.
I know. I haven't used it. I have no idea. Like, I shave. So I shave my head. So I don't even know what I would. It is kind of weird though. I will say this growing up as a redhead, that was sort of my identity, like whether I liked it or not. It was one of those things where I really stood out, like, boom, redhead guy, like Fresno, California, Latino neighborhood. So it's like even less chances of other redhead kids around me. And I remember one day we had like this tinted window in front of our house, like my parents' bedroom was a tinted window, like a sunglass, and you could get a real good reflection of and I remember the first time seeing my own reflection outside, like in the natural sunlight, and I was like, my God, my hair is bright. Like I'd only seen it indoors, like in medicine cabinets, and like,
your parents had really toned it down as much as they could for you.
So when I saw that bright red hair, I was like, wow, no wonder people are so like shocked and like, that shock red hair is like, whoa, fire engine, and woo, here comes the fire engine, woo, all this kind of crap, and I was like, and then you kind of, it was neat. Like my grandpa, his name was Red because he had red hair when he was younger, and there was this whole thing, and then they call me like in my act they call me Rooster, hey, what's up, Rooster, and all that, and then as it started, like you get older, then it kind of toned down, like it wasn't as bright,
right?
Thank God. Like, when I got into my late teens and the 20s, and then it's kind of
cool on a girl, like
yeah, dude, yeah.
Like there was an animated movie about a girl that wanted to be like a hunter. I forget what it was called. I think it's called Brave.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And I was like, oh, it gives her such a cool look that they gave her red hair, And I've seen it used to that effect in other stuff, and it's like. But for a guy, it's like it's so like jarring a color.
Yeah, and you'd get compliments from old ladies, like, oh, my daughter would love you, or my granddaughter would just, ooh, all this kind of stuff. But it was, it's sweet and everything. People, it was like they like it, but it was like, but my point,
it's one of those things that it's like it probably works for you a lot more than it works against you. The problem is it's only the negative people that will talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Like anyone who thinks it's cool just kind of privately thinks it's cool. But
or maybe they don't notice it after a while. They're just like, oh, that's just Darren. They're not like, but and it's kind of cool because like, people could pick you out in a crowd real easy, like I would, it's very easy. Like if you're walking at the fair or something. I know I keep going back to the fair, but that's what bumpkin activities. That's all I could think of when I was a kid. That's where crowds were. They were at the fair, or the mall, but they,
That's where you and all the other bumpkins went.
Exactly. I know. And then my point is when, when I shaved my head, I went from being like the redhead to like just looking like a lot of other dudes, which actually kind of was cool. Like it's weird to go from being so unique looking to like just blending in and being like some people don't know I have red hair, or they at least don't think, unless I tell them. Like I used to be a redhead,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, aren't your eyebrows red?
Yeah. You want to know an exclusive behind the scenes spoiler alert? I draw them on, dude. I draw my eyebrows on.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude. I have. I don't use.
Darren, no.
I don't use. I don't use that just for men, but I do use eyebrow pencils, and I have to because I have eyelashes that are blonde, my eyebrows are blonde. I'd have no facial expressions.
Stop it.
It's true.
Don't do that.
I have to. I've been doing it since I got contact lenses. I have to do it.
Did they tell you to do that? Did they go?
Well, the minute I took
draw some eyebrows on.
The moment I took the glasses, the frames off, it was like, whoa, I have no eyebrow, nothing's there. It's like eyebrows, eyelashes, it's gone. And I used to, man,
have full eyebrows and stuff.
Yeah, I draw them on, and then so I just go with a light brown. I go with the light brown. You know what's funny, dude, is when I'd go to the boxing.
Why don't you do red?
Ooh, because I don't even know, because I think that would look really weird. I don't want to have red eyebrows. Dude, if you have the choice.
But didn't you have red eyebrows?
No, I never did my whole life. I always had like blonde and you could barely see it.
So you chose, even when you had, that must have freaked people out if you had red hair and light brown eyebrows. They're like, what happened here genetically?
Well, when I was a kid, I wore glasses, so no one. It just kind of, it's red hair, black frame glasses like Buddy Holly, and then
Damn, Darren.
I know, dude, I had it all wrong, and the only reason I chose those black frame glasses,
Creating a no vagina zone.
I know. I remember I was
like as much as you could.
I remember I was at the optometrist, and it was almost like a trick they pulled on me. There was like these glasses in the glasses case, and there was only one pair of glasses that looked like they would fit a child when I was in first grade.
Oh no!
And he goes, "Which one would you like?" And I was like, that one, because that's the only one I thought would fit, and it was the black framed one. So
oh God!
Yeah, so from first grade up till like junior high, I pretty much had those glasses. And then
psychotic.
dude, it looked. I know. It looked like horn rim black frame glasses, or I don't know if they were horn rim, but that idea. They look like my grandpa's, and that's
with light brown eyebrows and shocking red hair.
Yeah, and then I switched over to, which was dumb, in seventh grade. I was like, oh, maybe I should get glasses that match my hair. So I had red hair and red glasses, like Sally Jesse Raphael or something.
Oh fuck.
I know, dude. And then I don't think I ever got.
To be fair, they don't give you a lot of options when you're a kid on stuff like that. But
I know. Although now I looked at some kids, they go all crazy with glasses now. They have like, and glasses frames are so cheap. Like they have multiple frames, and one day they're wearing blue glasses, and they're wearing green. They're wearing just like all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, now you can kind of do whatever. Like when I was a kid, there was like one or two girls that colored their hair like pink or purple or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was beautiful. I was like, oh, that's so cool. But they got kind of ostracized for doing that.
Yeah.
And like now old ladies do it. Everybody's doing it.
Oh yeah, that was the thing, right? To make fun of people, like, hey, the old blue hairs are here, like the blue hair, the old ladies, the blue hairs. Oh yeah, I used to do it.
Like,
yeah.
Everybody, like all women, like have these crazy artificial sort of colors like that don't exist in the real, like purple and blue and
the Kool-Aid colors,
hot pink and stuff like that. And I think it's great. I was like, man, I wish I was younger because this is fantastic.
That's cool. You got metallic gray. You got that happening.
Yeah, I could just dye all of that weird color, like
spend all day penciling in the stubble.
That would be really difficult. Dye stubble.
I remember at the I used to do a joke about my how'd it go back when I had red hair. I used to say my grandpa has white hair, my grandma has blue hair, I stand in the middle, we look like an American flag. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I get it.
That was, by the way, I did that once at an old folks home, and that's the only joke that got a laugh. None of my other stuff was hitting. That's the only one. And then I said something about someone died and we had to walk around half staff, and I squatted down or something. I don't know. But
did they laugh at that, or
I think they laughed at that, and then
remind them that they were dying?
No, and then it was back to my other stuff that didn't really work, and then we had to follow a CPR instruction seminar. Like it was like, before we start the comedy show, let's do a little CPR instruction and fire instruction or something, and then
you've got that weird looking dummy staring at you in the front row.
Exactly. It was so difficult. But back to the eyebrows, what I was going to say is, I use this pencil. I used to carry a small pencil in my back pocket, and
I bet you looked kind of like a CPR dummy with painted on eyebrows.
I know. I just yeah. I remember like one time I was at this is like. Now I'll tell people, hey, if they ask, do you use eyebrow pencil? No one ever asked, but I don't. Anyways, I'm not as guarded about it. Before I was always embarrassed, like, man, what if it's kind of weird that I'm wearing eyebrow pencil? But I don't know.
Did you ever watch the show Arrested Development?
I have seen a couple scenes and stuff.
They would have Ed Begley Jr. guest star on there, and he was suffering from alopecia, which is like total hair loss, like not just on his head but all over his body.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, and every once in a while he would one of his eyebrows would fall off into his soup or something like that.
Oh damn.
And I was like, there's always someone who's got it worse, like whatever
right.
you've got going on.
I remember one time I was at the Bray Improv like 25 years ago, and it was in between shows, and I was all like when you sweat, like it comes off, right? Because you rub your eyebrows, you rub your forehead or whatever. And so I was in between shows. I didn't want all the comedians were in the green room, and I was like, I don't want them to see me put this on. So then I ran into the bathroom and I put my eyebrow on, and right as I'm about ready to finish up, the headliner comes in, and I move my hand down real fast, and he goes, "Oh, what are you doing? Cocaine?" Like I almost should have said yeah or something. Yeah.
Rather than think I'm doing cocaine.
The last thing I'm doing is putting on eyebrows. I'm doing cocaine. That's it. And I was telling a buddy of this. I was just telling him a story, and he thought it was so funny. I've never really talked about it on stage, but I said, when I go to the boxing gym, it's kind of crazy because I'll have eyebrows, but then I'll sweat them off. So when you see me, I have eyebrows when I first get there, and then when I leave, I don't have any eyebrows. I have no. He beat the eyebrows off that boy. No.
There are like fans of yours that have pictures that up until now they've just been obsessed.
I know.
With, like, why does he have eyebrows in some pictures and not in others?
I know. And then there was a period that like around 10 years ago, I was like, screw it. Just like my buddy said, screw it to the Propecia. I was like, I'm just going to go natural. And then I look at that time of period of my life, and I'm like, no, I should have kept the eyebrows going, man. I don't like the way it looks. No eyebrows.
Yeah. Propecia, all that stuff to me seemed like, in Rogaine. I tried Rogaine when I first started, like, hair thinning, and it hurt my head, literally.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it was like pinching what hair was there.
Oh, they are a sponsor, by the way. No, I'm just
really?
kidding. No, they're not.
That'd be
They're
hilarious.
not that I know of. I mean, not that I know. I mean, I was joking, but then I thought I do put this on Spotify, and sometimes Spotify will like just slap on any kind of sponsor.
What was the weirdest thing you did when you first started losing your hair?
The weirdest thing I did when I started losing my hair, nothing too weird, I think, but I will say this: I did get the Rogaine. And the thing with Rogaine, you're supposed to do it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And I would forget to do it because it smelled weird. I didn't really like that stuff dripping all over my head. At nighttime, I felt like it was just soaking up the pillow, like dripping off my head using, on the pillow. And I would only remember to put the Rogaine on when I would see like a bald relative. I'd be like, oh shit, I got to put my Rogaine on. I don't want to look like that guy, But then I would say that would be probably one of the weirder things. And then I would another thing I would do is I would get haircuts more frequently. I did notice that because, it used to be every 6 weeks. And then it was like, oh, it's looking lopsided because the hair on the sides grows faster than it does on top. And especially with the red hair, it looked like Bozo. And I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So then then it got to the point, dude, where I was getting a haircut every week. And then the lady was like, she was very nice. Her name is Miriam. And, that's what you get to know him on a first name basis when you go every week. And Miriam was like, Darren, you don't need haircut. I just cut it on Tuesday. It's okay. You don't need haircut. And I'm like, I don't know. It's looking it's not really, and I was doing like this double comb over type of thing, where you'd pull it from the left and the right, almost like a mohawk. Like I'd let it meet together and it looks pretty good. In my mind, it looked pretty good from certain angles, but then I'm looking at videos from back then and I'm like, nah, the minute that you turn your head or something, like everyone can see there's only about 3 inches of hair in the middle of your head, and then it's all bald.
Also, you're under a spotlight. Like it's not normal lighting. So it's like people know when you're losing your hair.
Yeah, this is a joke, but it comes from truth. A lot of my white buddies and my black buddies had totally different reactions. Like my black friends are like, you need to shave that shit, man. Shave it. Let it go. Shave it. Let it go. And then my white buddies would be like, no, it looks good to me, Darren. It looks good. No, you still have hair, and
that's the problem. White people are too polite. Black people will tell you the truth. They'll be like, no, you need to get rid of that shit.
Yeah. My white buddies would be like, I remember one guy who was like, hair is, he actually had transplants, so he was very pro hair. But he was like, yeah, your face is a picture and the hair is the frame, and the hair needs to frame the picture, and all this. So that was stuck in my head, but I'd heard that back when I was like 25. So I think at that age, I was like, yeah, my face is a picture, and I need this frame. And then you realize, like, no. Like, it's better if you're gonna just shave it. If you're already like down that line, you know. I remember.
Yeah, it's true, but like your face is a picture, but it's like you want one that people don't get confused by.
Yeah, they don't like. Does he know? Does it look?
Is that real or is that fake? Or
Yeah, there's a comic that I've seen that he's worn a beanie ever since I've known this guy for like 6 years, like morning, night, June, July. I mean, just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I always wonder why. Like, does he? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? You know, it could be something kind of sad. You know, maybe he has some kind of markings up there or something. But
yeah,
I was just like, man, why does this guy always wear a beanie? Like, I used to never think about it, and then it
might have gotten fused to his head at some point.
Yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, damn, he never, ever, ever takes it off. Like, you know. So who knows? Maybe he'll get to a certain age where he's like, screw the beanie. You know. I've heard.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
I don't know if he thinks it looks good. That's really ultimately what matters. You know, because I think a lot of it for guys, especially, is more about confidence and less about like.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think anyone would 100% choose to have hair than not have it, but I don't think it matters quite as much as guys think it does.
Right. Yeah, dude. The minute
you start obsessing about it and it lowers your confidence, then yeah, it definitely matters.
I'll tell you this: the moment I shaved it, the more I instantly got compliments. You know, it was only shocking, I think, to my wife at first, and now she loves it. It's like, but it took a long time. You know,
yeah,
it took not a long time for her, but it took longer than it took everyone else. But I think everyone else, it's like. You know, like there's a waiter or a server, I don't know what he's called, at the Comedy Store. You know what I'm talking about? Doorman. I think he's a doorman.
Yeah,
he looks great. He shaved his head. He looks great. I don't know his name, but he looks great.
There's a couple of door guys that have shaved their heads, and they look great. Yeah.
I didn't even know he needed to shave his head. I never really paid attention, but he shaves it. And I'm like, oh, is Joe Rogan back? Like he looks like a tough guy or something in a way, but it looks better. He's very nice. I don't know his name. I should learn his name, but
yeah. There's a couple of guys that I can think of that are door guys that have done that, and it just looks right. Some people have a good head for a shaved head look. There are other guys that have like weird stuff going on like the shape of their head or whatever. Yeah. Like you see some guys where it was like, oh, that was the entire back of your head was hair. Now it's just a slope that goes straight down. You know. Like,
yeah.
Like at least you're lucky you have a head that.
I remember
that works with shaving it.
I remember I heard a comedian make fun of this other guy. He said the back of your neck looks like a pack of hot dogs. And I was like, oh yeah, it does. This one guy.
Well, that's an old standard slam that, but like, yeah, a lot of people have that where like, if you move your head back, it looks like you've got a pack of hot dogs back there.
Yeah. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then you're right. Then you start noticing like, oh, a lot of people have that pack of hot dogs look back there.
Yeah.
I had an interesting day last week. I did an internet TV show out in Corona, and it was a lot of fun. But here's the thing. Have you ever been to Corona, California?
Probably.
It's about 65 miles from you, and the show's at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So you got to make a decision. Do you what time do you leave?
Right.
Actually,
you beat traffic, and then you're stuck in that town all day.
Yeah. It might be closer to 75 miles. Like it was far enough to where, so I said, screw it, I'm going to leave early. So I left at noon and it was kind of fun though. I had a friend that I hadn't, I met right out of high school. Shout out to Kevin. And, dude, he and I have this cool, long friendship, like the way that I first met him, I was working at Carl's Jr. In Fresno. Like that's how long he's known, even before I did comedy, dude, like way back in the day. And he and his coworker, they worked at a radio station. Excuse me one second.
Darren, you can't be sweating your eyebrows onto the burgers.
Back then I think I wore glasses still. So, yeah. Darren, how come at the beginning of your shift you're so happy and surprised?
Darren, we have to let you go. You've been getting complaints about light brown everything.
All over these famous stars. No, but him and this other guy, his name is Corey. They walked in and I go, "You guys work at the station X104? No way!" And I was super energetic. You can imagine a young Darren Carter, full of energy and red hair. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh! Oh wow! I'd love to be on the radio. That's so cool. I love the radio." And they go, "Oh yeah," and they were just laughing at me because he laughs a lot. That's a good thing for a comedian to have a friend that laughs a lot. So this dude laughs a lot, and he's laughing. He's just like, ha, 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 just cracking up, ha, ha, everything. And I'm doing like, I think I did my wannabe act back then. Sure. Like I'd put a little act together in, college and high school and stuff. So I was doing the impressions for them, and they were like, "You should come over, man." And then I went over there, and so I got the job at the radio station. Anyway, so he's down, staying at his sister's house, so we ride out there together. But dude, there's something kind of cool about knowing you have something to be at 8 p.m., but you leave at noon and you have all day to get there. You're not in any kind of rush. So I stopped at a couple of different Kohl's and looked for shirts that I like, which they didn't have any that I liked. And I looked.
So wait, you knew that Kohl's didn't have any you liked at the first one.
Yeah.
And you stuck with Kohl's all the way. You didn't go like, oh, maybe try Target or Walmart or something like that.
No, because there's like this brand of shirt which I got hooked into, which I may have mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. And I don't know what it is. There's a certain brand you like Adidas or you like Calvin Klein or whatever. Kohl's has this shirt, this line. It's called Apartment 9. And I really like these Apartment 9 shirts, but I don't want the printed Hawaiian zany crazy colors. I want like the solid. So, and there's a couple of Apartment 9 shirts that I bought, and I had them tailored, and I've never had a shirt tailored before, but it feels really good to have like a tailored shirt,
Tailored Apartment 9. You're probably the only person that has tailored Apartment 9.
It's so whack. I know. It's like
from Kohl's.
I know exactly. I know. And dude, one of the shirts that I like, I bought it like in the summer, and it was like $30. It's really cool. And then I did find it at Kohl's. I did find that shirt at Kohl's on the clearance rack, and they knocked it down from
$1.
Yeah, they knocked it down from 30 to 15, and at the register he knocked it down another additional. So he's giving me change back, and I was like, "Whoa!" It was like $8 and some change. I'm like, "Wow, this is crazy!" Like this is like.
He told the manager, he's like, "Someone bought it."
Yeah, they bought the Apartment 9 shirt.
You remember the one that we can't sell?
I'm so into that shirt because even online, it's like it's out of like print or whatever. Like these shirts that I like. It's like it's called like slim fit, untucked, where you can like pull it. Like it looks good when you like pull it down. It's what's the other thing?
We got complaints people's underarms were catching fire, so we had to discontinue.
Oh yeah, the material is spandex and polyester, and a friend of mine was at a Kohl's just by accident. I was on the phone with them. He goes, I go, "Where are you right now?" And he goes, "I'm in a Kohl's." I go, "Dude, you're in a Kohl's?" And it was down by Manhattan Beach, which I know I'd never be in a Manhattan Beach Kohl's because I just don't. Why would I go there? And unless I'm in the area, I go, "Can you please do me a favor?" And I sent him a photo of the Apartment 9 black shirt that I wanted. That was, he goes, "Are you serious?" He was same thing. He thought it was funny, Apartment 9. And then he goes, "Why don't you go with like some of the other brands?" I go, "No, I like the Apartment 9." And I go, it's part spandex, it's part polyester. And he's like, these are like the worst materials, man. You gotta like.
Yeah, that's terrible for you. Like on stage, you must be roasting in that thing.
You would think, but I guess maybe because it's tailored. I just feel like I look so good in it. I don't care.
Have you contacted Apartment 9? You have to be the only person.
I love your $3 shirts, guys. I love your $3 shirts. I know.
They would come up with like. I bet if you contacted them within a year, they would have the Darren Carter collection.
Oh, that would be good. I should.
Shirts.
Oh, I should contact them. You're right. I'm going to contact them. I'm going to figure out how to do that. I will do that. I'm going to do that today.
The new sponsor of the Pocket Party podcast,
Apartment 9. I love these shirts. They
Speaking of pockets,
yeah, these shirts have a pocket. They really do.
comfortable pockets of the apartment 9.
I know. Listen to me, folks. I know it sounds. You think, what do you get when you combine spandex and polyester? But no. You're thinking clearance rack, and you would be right.
We use only the finest materials to make a shirt that is likely to burst into flames.
I know, because my wife and I were like, it's a black shirt. I mean, how special could it be? So we went online and we went on Amazon and we found some other, like, I don't know, we went to like Nordstrom or Macy's, or I don't even know where we went, but it was another black shirt, and it came in the, Amazon delivered it a few days later. And dude, it wasn't apartment 9. It was like apartment 10 or something. It was not.
So it was a knockoff.
It was a knockoff, and it was like
a discount line.
I tried it on. It looked too boxy. I didn't like the way it fit. And also, I told my wife, I go, is it me, or do I look like a priest in this shirt? Like, it was too, like, solid. It was too, like, it looked like a priest. Like, the apartment 9, maybe it's, like, black, but, like, a little bit off. I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't know.
It's like a slightly gray, you mean?
Yeah, there might be, like, little slight gray, like, in the stitching or something. So it's not just one, like, here's a giant cloth, and we just made a shirt out of it, and you look like a priest now. It's like,
right.
Apartment 9 knows what they're doing.
If it's too black, I could see that being, yeah.
Like
full black, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the collar would have a lot to do with how weird that looks.
I know. So that's what so that was fun to, like, do that. And then I started, because I actually made a little list. I was like, okay, I have all day. What do I need? And I thought, let me check out those shirts at Kohl's. And then speaking of, earlier, I think we talked about, trimming our hair. So I was like, I need to get like an ear, nose, and eyebrow trimmer. So I which is stupid, right? I'm trimming the eyebrows that I draw on, but however, they do overgrow sometimes. So
might want to just use a thinner pencil.
Hey, you just saved me $15. Thank you.
Yeah, if that's the problem,
And then I was like, I could get some soap also. I was like, that's why not? I'm down to like 3 bars of soap or whatever. By the way, do you go liquid soap or bar soap?
Liquid.
Oh, you go liquid. I do both. I do bar soap because I grew up with bar soap. I love bar soap. I love.
Not all of us are rich, Darren.
Is liquid soap cheaper? I don't even know.
Pick one or the other.
Yeah. They okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a certain brand of soap that you go with, or do you just go all over the place?
For like showering and stuff, I will use different ones, whichever are on sale, but I have certain things that I look for. Like, I like, for liquid soap, anything that has like an almond sort of smell. And I prefer if it has like some sort of exfoliant in it.
Oh, interesting.
It's just better where it's like the soap's a little bit grainy.
Yeah, like a gritty liquid.
Because it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone to exfoliate and clean at the same time. But they have a lot of different discount soaps that have both of those things. So I'll just use that. And for my face, though, I'm a little bit more fancy. I'll get like Neutrogena. They have a pretty basic face wash.
You sound like a hot chick right now. Like this could be in your Tinder profile.
It's really good. Like actually, a very hot chick turned me on to it.
Oh,
and she was like, "You're starting to get older. You should probably use like Neutrogena, like I do." And there's a noticeable difference between like washing your face with bar soap or something like that.
Yeah, like a Lever 2000 or something, or lava soap.
Yeah, with something like that where it's like, oh my God, my face feels much softer and smoother.
Oh yeah, I use Neutrogena moisturizer.
Yeah, and she was like, use a little bit of moisturizer on your face afterwards. Another tip from a hot girl that works just as well for guys. If you're going to moisturize your face, you may as well get one that has sunscreen in it. And that'll kind of help, especially in California, minimize. I have like a lot of sun damage around my eyes because I don't wear sunglasses and I just drive into the sun all the time and stuff like that.
How come you don't wear sunglasses?
I didn't really need them until like very, very recently did I start becoming more sensitive to light. And now a lot of people have like those blazing headlights and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so now I'm like, I wish I was, they had good sunglasses for night driving, you know, where
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if people are like blaring their headlights at you, because it's hard to gauge where the vehicle is when you have like these big huge lights. Like if it's like 2-lane roads or something, I find like I'm just gonna be safe and move farther out of the way of the other guy because I can't really tell where they are. If it's like super, super bright, like on a truck or something. You find that?
Absolutely. You're like, right, yeah, behind you. And sometimes like it's like a weird color also, right? Like a weird like bluish or like super bright. Like
right, where it's just like, that's way too bright.
Oh, I want to give the audience a hot tip, and you too, Mike. There's this website that we've been using to buy glasses on called I Buy Direct. EYE. And they're not a sponsor. I'm just telling you that it's just helped. Remember earlier I was talking about like frames and stuff, like you'd be stuck with the same frame. You can get these I Buy Direct for like, I'm just looking on the website, like $39, $35, $35, $42, and then you put your real like prescription lenses in there. It's like, it's pretty cool. So yeah, so I have prescription sunglasses. I have regular sunglasses and I have the prescription ones, which I use the prescription sunglasses when I drive. That way I can see crystal clear, like all the, you know, at a distance. But if I'm just going to go for a walk around the block or a hike or something, I just put on the regular sunglasses. I don't need to see every little leaf.
Do you drive at night with those on?
No, at night I don't use my prescription sunglasses. I have prescription glasses that I put on. Here's the thing. I wear, once again, I'm going to get weird. I wear contact lenses, but my contact lenses are set at a certain focus to where the lady goes like this when the optometrist, she goes, do you want to be able to see, what's more important, do you see at a distance, like further, crystal clear, or do you want to see more like in your world, like within a room, like what's close to you within a room? And I said, let's do that. I'd rather do that. So she's like, okay. So she turned my prescription down. It was like at 450, and now it's down to like 400 because before it was too strong. So it's at a 400. So that means I can look at my phone and I can see it really clear. I can look at I can look at people in the room and I can see. But if I'm driving or if I'm at the back of, let's say, the Comedy Store and I want to see the person on stage, I can see them, but it'd probably be better. Like when I'm watching a movie, it's better if I bring my glasses that go on top of my, lenses, or that I'm already wearing contact lenses, but then I put on some glasses that have a slight prescription in them.
Right.
So yeah.
So about 30 paces away.
Right. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. And it helps tremendously.
An enemy or what?
Exactly. Yeah. I can't tell if you're a friend or foe. Can you come a little closer or step a little further away? I can't quite tell. Yeah.
You're like waving at the guy who thinks you suck, and you're like, "Hey, buddy."
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I wear these glasses when I drive. Maybe you could do that. You could go to I don't know if you need any kind of prescription or something, but an eye doctor, and then I use these iBuyDirect.com. Like my son really has them, and yeah.
It's not a vision thing. It really is a light thing where it's like when light is just like right in your eyes.
I wonder if they have something like that, like for night driving, some sort of.
Because I worry about like wearing sunglasses because I don't want to make my vision worse, like too dark. Especially now now that we're sharing the road with bikes.
I know, and also like I think they changed some pedestrian jaywalking law.
Yeah, now you can just jaywalk.
I don't like that, man. That's just too dangerous. I don't like that. It's like
we're just getting to the point where like there's nothing on, like everything on the road but a car has the right of way.
Right.
And it's like they're just not built for that,
I mean, I got a jaywalking ticket years ago when I first moved to LA. It was down by Universal Studios, and I was like, That's when I learned, like, cross at the green, not in between, or you can legally cross at corners, like if you're in the middle of a block, but it's a corner, there's like an alleyway or something, you can legally do that. But when people wear like dark clothes and they're jaywalking, like I was in North Hollywood a couple of weeks ago at night, and I saw this guy like just walking in the middle of the block, and it's a lot of traffic, and a car turned right, and they don't expect a person to be right there. The car turned right, and then boom, they hit their brakes real fast, and there was like this little altercation, like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, dude, you're wearing dark clothes at nighttime, and we can't see you.
Yeah. Or people will like chill right on the corner and then start going as a car.
Yeah, or how about people that stare at their phones and they're walking across the street looking down? They're only relying on the driver. What if the driver's not paying attention? It's like then now cars are
paying attention to one of the other crazy distractions going on.
Right. And also cars are quiet now, so sometimes people aren't even hearing the car come up and hit them. It's like, or get close to them, or
Yeah, like I'll honk at someone because like I've gained enough speed where I can't really brake or whatever if they start the street, and they look at me like annoyed, like I was the problem.
No, I'll honk all day. Like I'll do a little safety honk. Yeah, you gotta like.
Yeah. I just saved your life, and I'm the problem.
I know. A driver taught me this. He's like, yeah, when you back up, because I told him I used to like just kind of do a little safety, like beep beep when I back up, in case there's somebody walking behind me or they don't, And he goes, put your hazard lights on. I'm like, oh, so I do that. So whenever I back up, I put the hazard lights on and hit the horn, like just like dee dee, it's like a little, and I back up. And so far, it's kind of alerts people that I'm backing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that jaywalking thing, that tripped me out. And when I'm walking at night, if I can, me with comedy, I use the flashlight. But even when I'm walking, like for exercise or something, I always bring the flashlight when I'm crossing the street, just to kind of make myself more aware to drivers.
Yeah. But there's all sorts of things now that you just got to do to be safe because it's getting so crazy. And it's always kind of blamed on the driver, whether they were at fault or not,
Yeah. One last question. When you're driving, what do you listen to? Do you listen to talk radio, no music? Do you listen to music? Do you have the windows down?
Oddly enough, I only listen to the song I Wear My Sunglasses at Night.
Because you want some sunglasses so bad.
It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It could be, 11 in the morning. I wear my sunglasses.
Oh, here's a safety tip for everybody, and this is especially in Southern California. We might not think of this, but it's good to get windshield wiper blades before it starts to rain, because what'll happen is it'll rain, and then you'll put the blade on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you don't realize it's been disintegrating in the heat out here. So it's like, I got new blades about a month ago.
Yeah. And you get that weird, like stutter as it moves along.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I have never successfully put new blades on my car. I don't know how to do it. And I've gotten comfortable with that. So now when I go and get them, I just go, can you guys put them on? I'll give you $10. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny you say that. My wife had them put on, and I knew when I was going to go to Palm Springs, they were like flash flood warning. So I was like, okay, I need these blades. So we had them put on. I go out there, it was great. I was using them, feeling all good. And then, about 2 weeks ago, I was on the road. I was up in Fresno, the Fresno Clovis area, doing a show for the veterans. Chuck Liddell was in the front row from the UFC. That was pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, and then the next morning, because you're driving and there's all these bugs and stuff, and I'm like, oh, let me clean the windshield wipers or the windshield. So I'm scraping the windshield, and somehow, some way, the squeegee bumped up against the wiper, and it just completely fell off. And I'm like, what? And so I struggled with it, dude, for about what you just said, for about 7 to 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, this has to be easy. I mean, everyone knows how to, it's like a puzzle or something. And there has to be like some sort of click in or snap or, you know. And I got it. I finally kind of sort of figured it out. I didn't want to test it, but I'm like, okay, at least it won't blow off when I'm driving down the road. I went across the street to go to Starbucks, and as I got out of the car, I noticed there was a O'Reilly's Auto Part, and I'm like, oh, perfect. So I got the coffee. I drove over there. I told the guy, I told him what happened, and he goes, oh, let me take a look. He looked at it, and it seemed to be pretty secure, and he goes, oh, hold on. And it turns out I had put it in upside down. And and then he snapped it in. Yeah. I go, shouldn't there be like a snap or a click? And he goes, yeah, but because you can barely hear it. It's like that. You can barely hear it. And he goes, okay, you're good to go. And it was like a godsend. I was like, thank you. And I actually used him just to make sure it worked. And it was really cool.
Yeah, the one time I thought I had done it right, I turned them on and they went flying off.
That's embarrassing. I remember one time a AAA showed up and the guy goes, okay, can you pop your hood for me? Which I'd popped the trunk and I popped the gas thing, to make the gas door open. At that point, I'd never popped the trunk or the hood. And I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. So I know it's going to be underneath the driver's like steering wheel on the left. I know it's going to be there, right?
Sure.
And I'm feeling around. I'm looking around. I literally couldn't find it. And about 30 seconds went by. He said it again. Maybe he thought I didn't hear him. And I go, I can't really find it. And then guy walks right over. He asked me the kind of car it was again. And I told him. And then he goes, oh, it's right here. And he just does it right away. I'm like, oh boy. Okay. It was kind of camouflaged, To my credit, we were in a dark parking garage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I tried my best under the conditions.
Yeah. That's probably how people feel when, when you don't know how a computer works and then someone knows exactly how a computer works. They're like, no, dude, this is how you minimize the screen. You go like this. This is how you.
Yeah.
How do you make the words big? You hit shift. I did. No, you got to hold it down. You got to hold shift down. There's a thing called caps lock. But if you don't know any of this stuff, you're just like, he's a wizard.
Press the control button. I don't see a control button. Press the CTRL button. Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Well, Mike, dude, thank you so much for doing the Pocket Party podcast and making our day a little bit better. Thank you, all the listeners. Can you do us a huge favor, guys, and go to Apple and give it a review? Apparently, podcasting, 90% of the podcasts come through Apple, and the more 5 stars and reviews we get, the higher it goes up the rankings.
The comments really, really help.
Oh yeah, comments on YouTube. We love the comments on YouTube, and we love the reviews on. I got a new review last. We got a new review on last week. It was really a simple one. It was from Big Comedy Fan, and it said, "Love the positive energy, always entertaining." So thank you very much, Big Comedy Fan. We thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I haven't checked in 2 days, so let's see if we have any more reviews. Let's see real quick. Pocket Party Podcast, Apple, scrolling down. Nope, that was the last one. Big Comedy Fan, entertaining and positive energy.
So we're counting on you guys.
We're counting on you guys. Well, why not? We might as well read the previous.
Clearly, if you send a review, it's gonna get read on the air. So,
oh yeah! Shout out to official Busy Izzy IG. She says, love this podcast. I saw you perform at Bruce's, and now I'm listening to your podcast. I think it's so dope. Your podcast and your comedy and stand-up is effing awesome. Thank you. Official Busy Izzy OG. Also, Frankie Leal Photography. He's good. I almost feel embarrassed because I know him, but screw it. I'll read it again. I actually know him. He's one of my favorite photographers, Frankie Leal. First, I love the new artwork, which is hilarious because he did it. Second, I've been listening for long, and I love how entertaining the podcast is. Listening to Pocket Party Podcast while commuting makes the road trips faster. Thank you, Darren. Which is true. That guy goes back and forth from the Fresno area to LA and shoots comedians wherever, but a lot of times at the Laugh Factory. And,
that's very good.
Yeah, so guys, leave a review. We will read it, and you can plug your Instagram or your social media or your business or whatever. Go to Apple, leave a review. And thank you for the comments on YouTube. And you guys have a great day. And we're getting closer to Halloween. And we'll talk some Halloween stuff next episode with Mike. And Mike, have a great day, dude. You sound way more awake now than you did when we first spoke.
I'm full of vim and vigor now.
Are you going to go back to bed, or do you think you'll shake the cobwebs off and get out there?
Maybe a little of both. I'll shake the cobwebs off and go to bed.
I'm going to try to contact apartment 9. Yeah. All right, buddy. Have a great one.
All right, you too.
You
Bye-bye.
got it. Bye-bye. Well, look at you. You made it all the way through. Thank you again, guys, for joining us on this journey we call the Pocket Party Podcast. I do love all the positive feedback, man. You guys are our group, and it's good, dude. Shout out to all you guys. Love you. Love the energy that you guys bring forth, okay? And thanks for keeping us in the rotation. You know, you got your top 10 podcasts, and we just like to be in there. I love to be in the top 10, top 5. Some people, I'm in their number 1 podcast, and that's really cool too. And I know there's so many options, and just like Southwest Airlines always says, we thank you for joining us at the Pocket Party Podcast. All right, buddy. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon. And if you get a chance, hop on over to my son's YouTube channel and check that out. AusTheBassBoss. AusTheBass Boss. AusTheBassBoss. He put up a new video. It's pretty cool. He got a standing ovation performing at the high school talent show. And he's the low man on the totem pole. He's a freshman, a ninth grader. A ninth grader went out there and just crushed it and got a standing ovation. The crowd's all screaming. It's pretty cool. AusTheBassBoss on YouTube. And my YouTube channel is Darren Carter on YouTube. Darren. Darren Carter. All right, y'all. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt nobody. Be careful.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to the Pocket Party